What can you tell me about the overall shape of the head?
After an expert forensic artist extracted a detailed description from witness Rob Johnson.
His shape sort of like a man, but a lot more robust. And his trap muscles came up to where his ears were.
He created a precise rendering of the beast.
Interesting. Well, you ready to see this guy again?
Yeah, let's see it. Holy smokes. Wow, that's incredible.
That looks like what you saw, Rob?
Yeah, wow.
So you guys knew about that. I mean, I've showed you the sketches, but what you didn't know is that I wanted to take it one step further. I wanted to see if there's anything else that we could pull from these sketches. So I enlisted the help of a forensic specialist out of Scotland by the name of Dr. Tobias Holton. Now, he's working with some incredible high-powered software and algorithms to do something truly remarkable that I think is gonna blow your minds. Hey, Dr. Holton.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. Can you start by telling me a little bit about what you do? I understand it's pretty amazing.
Sure, of course. So I'm basically a specialist in facial reconstruction, which essentially involves building up a human face from skeletal remains.
For example, if you find a skull, you're able to create an actual 3D model of what that person might have looked like.
Definitely.
What kind of new information reveals itself?
Within a forensic context, it is used as a last resort in critical cold cases. If we find skeletonized remains, we can build up that face using modern science and imaging techniques to estimate the facial appearance. And this face can then be presented to police stations, unidentified person archives, and other relevant media, so we can work towards establishing the identity of the deceased and establish new investigatory leads to resolve a case.
Oh, wow.
Alternatively, in archaeology, it gives an opportunity to meet our ancestors. I've got an example that I can share with you just now. Okay, so this particular skull dates back to the Bronze Age, and then we are guided by the skull morphology in order to model all the superficial muscles, and this gives us an idea of the general facial form. What we'll do next, for the facial features, we'll then work our way up.
Oh, that's
to modeling
incredible.
the skin. And then eventually all of these details are brought together to produce the final face.
I know it's not often that we find an exact skull that's intact.
But if we did, we could learn so much about a creature, right? Like their eating habits, their social structures, or even if they walked upright.
Sure, using an amalgamation of anatomical and anthropological insight, definitely, yeah,
Wow,
sure.
that is wild. I find what you do absolutely fascinating, and I think I have an interesting task for you. Have you ever worked this process in reverse? Can you take a forensic sketch and model what that skull might look like?
That's something I've never tried before, but yeah, that sounds interesting.
Well, we had a witness who had a crystal clear picture in his mind, and he was able to give that to a forensic sketch artist, and he came up with this realistic drawing. And I just want to take that one step further and come up with a 3D model of what that skull might actually look like.
Sure, I mean, we'll certainly give it a good go.
That would be incredible. Well, look, I'll send you over those sketches, and I really look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, Dr. Holton. I'll talk to you soon. Hey,
Yeah.
Dr. Holton, how are you?
Hey, good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've got some cool stuff to show you.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm chomping at the bit. Please do.
I'll show you the initial sketches that you show me.
Yep.
And without the hair. Just to get kick-started, I roughly sketched in what the skull might actually look like to create this map in order to help me generate a 3D skull. So what you can see using that, I've essentially generated the skin face.
Oh, wow.
It's additionally useful to have an idea of what the skin looks like in 3 dimension as opposed to just the 2.
Already, this is incredible.
And then using that information, so we've got this really detailed reference as to what the whole facial structure looks like. Let me switch off the plane so you can see better what the skull looks like. There we go.
That is incredible.
So this is all kind of useful little references to help guide the process of trying to reverse engineer his skull.
It's just incredible.
I've actually sent you a package.
Yes, I was curious as to what it was. Should I go ahead and open it?
Yeah, please do.
All right, I've been really excited to check this out here. Let's see it. Oh my God. It's like Bigfoot Christmas. Holy cow. Amazing. Wow. So this is an actual model from just that sketch. I mean, I can already see the resemblance of the skull there.
Yeah.
Wow. It's huge.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I'm blown away. That is a big guy.
Okay, so now that you've got the 3D print in hand of the skull, you can really see that there is like minimal to no real evidence of a forehead.
Yeah.
Again, like what we would expect to see with an ape. You've got that really strong, well-pronounced brow ridge as well.
Yeah.
Again, very ape-like. But if we draw in closer to his nose, this bridge of the bone structure supporting his nose is really high and pronounced. He's got a really human-looking nose, like modern human nose. So there's some similarities that I could see relate to ape species as well as modern humans. These sort of features was kind of reminiscent of the early hominin species as well, like Australopiths from Africa or the Neanderthals from Europe.
So you're saying that just with these sketches alone, you were able to sort of recognize some of our ancient hominin ancestors.
Who knows? This could be a very ancient being that has been roaming America for some time.
Wow.
So to add to what I've just done, I decided to share the 3D models that I generated with a colleague of mine, and she specializes in 3D texturing.
Oh.
So let me share my screen and show you what the textured face of Bigfoot looks like. What do you reckon?
Wow. That is wild. And I feel like I'm looking into the face of this creature that our witness looked into. This is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And I think that added texturing just really helps bring him to life that little bit more.
You know, more than anything, for the first time, I feel like I'm getting what witnesses describe when they're saying this creature had such a human face, but it wasn't human. I think that's fascinating that you can glean all that information just from somebody's sketch, you know?
Sure.
It's wild. I mean, to me, it's all adding up that this is really something authentic that this witness saw and experienced. But now we have this 3D model that we can actually take and show to other scientists and glean new information from this. I think it's just remarkable what you've done. I'm blown away.
Well, thank you for trusting me with the job. It's been good fun.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable, wouldn't you say?
Wow.
Well, look, now's the time you guys have been waiting for. Maria, I had the skull shipped to you. Let us know, is this what a Bigfoot skull would look like? And if so, what can we learn from this?
Here it is, you guys.
Jeez. Look at the size of that thing. It's gigantic.
Isn't
Is
it?
that incredible or what?
Obviously, you guys were working under the premise that this is a Bigfoot skull based on the memory recollection and a drawing. If we were to take that at face value, kind of literally, right?
Man.
And take a look at this, there's a lot of information that we can get from a skull. I've got this gorilla skull here. What is the first thing that catches your eye on that compared to the possible Bigfoot skull?
For me, the lack of the cranium.
It's missing this sagittal crest, which is used to attach powerful jaw muscles. And that kind of makes sense because gorillas are herbivorous and they're chewing through really hard grasses and stalks, and so they're gonna need those powerful jaw muscles. But then the other thing that you might notice is pretty obvious. If I bring the teeth closer together, what do you see? What's missing on this one?
Yeah, there's no huge canines.
Huge canines are usually associated with anything that's gonna rip through flesh. And gorillas don't do that. In fact, gorillas have larger canines than chimpanzees, and chimpanzees are more omnivorous. So even that argument, you can't say, well, then maybe Bigfoot's not as reported, right, Ronnie, that they're carnivorous, you can't then say, well, then they're not carnivorous. In fact, what I'm thinking is that may be more of an indication of their social structure and their social behavior. And what if you've got a situation more so like, say, a species like Neanderthals, where they're incredibly skilled hunters, they're not relying on their teeth, they have weapons, and they're not defending territory because they're migrating. And then what I thought was really interesting is this foramen magnum, this opening at the base of the skull. And in humans, that opening shifts forward. And that's what allows us to stand straight up, right? It helps us be upright and bipedal. In this, it's sort of in this weird middle position where if this was a Bigfoot, it would be able to walk bipedally, but it would also spend time on all fours walking quadrupedally on the ground. So once again, it straddles the line between ape and human.